12 consecutive nights of CENTCOM strikes just crushed Iran's missile bluff, and then the IRGC dumped out propaganda footage of their new drones like it changes the score. Well, it doesn't. Trump keeps hammering their launchers every single night. And I want to show you the line from Rubio that tells you Tehran knows it's losing. Now at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on July 22nd, CENTCOM finished night number 12. 12 straight nights hitting Iranian military targets, from missile and drone storage to maritime capabilities, coastal surveillance, and air defenses. And that's not a warning shot. That is Trump choking the Islamic Republic's war machine in real time, while the Houthis fire at Saudi ships and Sergei Lavrov sits in the same orbit protecting Iran's patrons. When Trump says Iran has evil intentions and can never get a nuclear weapon, you know exactly what hangs in the balance. American troops, global shipping in every city the mullahs would love to blackmail. After 12 straight nights of hitting Iran, a lot of Americans are asking a smaller question at home. When did you last truly feel recovered? Well, Jonathan Otto built a medbed hack around cellular energy focus because mitochondria, starved of the right frequencies of light and the right electromagnetic environment, slip into less energy production, slower recovery, and slower repair. Red Life combines red light therapy and PEMF, two clinically studied wellness technologies using specific wavelengths to boost cellular energy production and support natural repair processes. Gentle electromagnetic pulses support circulation, recovery, and function. You get 10 clinically studied wavelengths, advanced dual chip technology, and up to twice the power in 30 minutes a day right from home. Hit medbedhack.com. It's linked below. Use code NNN30 for 30% off bundles, NNN25 for 25% off individual devices. Weak men stall, strong men restore. So we're talking about 9 commercial vessels that got redirected while CENTCOM enforced the blockade around Iran. And that part matters. We're not just watching Trump blow up launchers, we're watching him squeeze Tehran's ability to move, hide, and bluff at sea. Now look at the tweets, because the White House and Rubio just said the quiet part out loud. Earlier tonight, U.S. military released this statement at 10:30. CENTCOM forces completed another round of strikes against Iran. U.S. forces struck military targets, maritime capabilities, drone storage facilities, coastal surveillance. This month, American forces have targeted dozens of Iranian military sites on land while resuming a blockade against Iran. As of today, CENTCOM has redirected 9 commercial vessels. More than 50,000 U.S. service members are operating across the Middle East. Here's some of the footage that has now just been released by CENTCOM, newly declassified video that is making the rounds online. Remarkable and dramatic visuals of the destruction that is raining down all over Iran. And these are really just the last few pieces, I think, that President Trump is targeting. With this skirmish, this conflict has been going on for quite some time now. And President Trump is picking them all off one by one. So the overnight strike images make the message plain. The U.S. is hitting Iran's military machine night after night. Now the focus shifts to diplomacy. Reporters pressed Rubio on whether Russia is helping Tehran target American troops. And what's interesting about this video you're about to see, as a reporter is asking the question whether he will confront Lavrov about Russia helping Iran target U.S. troops. And immediately the press is ushered out of the room. It's verboten. You cannot ask this question to his face. And this is where the panic sets in. Watch.
Mr. Rubio, will you ask the Foreign Minister today about Russia helping to target U.S. troops? Is Russia helping Iran target Americans?
Ms. Lava, when will Russia stop its war in Ukraine?
Once again.
Okay, thank you, press. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Speak louder.
Time to depart. Thank you, press. All right, guys, let's go. Come on.
You heard the
Sorry. Thank you, press.
Thank you. Individuals on the Russian side.
Thank you.
Speak up, and then
all right.
it looked
Thank
like
you. Gotta let them start their meeting.
Somebody from the administration, the press wrangler, said, no, we're not going to be having that conversation. So it got cleared out real fast once the hard questions started flying. Next, Rubio posts the official readout of a sit-down with Sergei Lavrov, and what they say was, in fact, on the table. He says, we met today with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines of the ASEAN ministerial. We discussed the U.S.-Russia relationship and the need to end the Russia-Ukraine war. Interesting moment, right? You see the one question asked, press gets scrambled out of the room, and Rubio posts this photograph. So publicly, the meeting is framed around U.S.-Russia ties and ending the war in Ukraine, but back in Washington, President Trump draws a hard line and warns Iran will pay if Houthi proxies fire again. The president posting on Truth Social about holding the Houthis accountable. They're starting up again. If they do this again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible in that the Houthis are a surrogate and or proxy of Iran, and major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran. And of course, the Houthis themselves, President Donald J. Trump, official readout from the White House. So the warning is blunt. If the Houthis move, Iran owns it. Marco Rubio takes it further, saying Tehran's threats are meeting a policy far harsher than an eye for an eye. Here he is again in the Philippines on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit.
You know, guys, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price for the things they're doing. They're already paying a very heavy price. You guys don't know it because you don't cover it. You're not in Iran. You're not in the street. They don't have a free media. But they're going to continue to pay a very heavy price. Their industrial base has been decimated. Their defense industrial base has been decimated. They're losing launchers. They're losing radars every single night. They are suffering billions of dollars in damage, and their economy is a disaster. But despite all that, okay, these people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal, they send us messages through other countries, third countries. I mean, they're running out of countries to send. Even I had countries here coming up to me, oh, I just spoke to the Iranians, they want to do a deal. The problem is, every time these people do a deal, they either break it or after they make it, they want to change the deal. So they're probably not ready to do a deal yet, but they will be soon, because the price they're paying is very high, despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego videos they put out. I've never seen them, but they put these things out on social media. Despite all that bravado, they are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately.
So Rubio says Iran's military base is getting wrecked, its economy bleeding, and the regime's begging for a deal through back channels. Then the IRGC tries to answer with propaganda footage of missiles and drones aimed at U.S. bases. IRGC Aerospace Force has released footage showing the launch of the Qam 1 and Fatah 1 medium-range ballistic missiles, along with the Shahed 136 and Shahed 238 and Shahed 107 loitering munitions targeting U.S. military installations across the region. We can see some of this footage here. Favorite soundtrack applied. We'll just go ahead and mute that. But curious how they're so scared they're blurring out parts of the video. They don't want our reverse engineering of the landscape to reveal the location. But we have our own Space Force, of course, which can read a name tag on a camel. So I'm not worried about that, but they are certainly. So this is some of the propaganda that is now being released by the Iranians. We have missile. We have rocket. Death to America. Death to America. All right, this is the kind of thing that they're trying to scare us with, but of course, you mess with the bull and you get the horns, as they say. So that's just some of the footage that's coming out. It's their favorite move. Slick missile video to fake strength after taking real losses. Meanwhile, the White House gets asked why Saudi Arabia can get a civilian nuclear deal while Iran gets shut out. Pretty stupid question from a reporter in the White House press pool. Oh, why can't Iran have one?
Ask you one other question. Sure. Just playing devil's advocate, why does Saudi Arabia get a civilian nuclear deal, but Iran doesn't get a civilian nuclear deal?
Well, again, this agreement is still being worked out. Well, it will eventually, hopefully, be finalized with the condition that the president spoke about this morning. But this agreement in particular, as it's been discussed thus far, does give priority access for American companies in the Saudi nuclear energy program, which will ultimately benefit American industry workers and supply chains. So the deal that has been discussed thus far and will continue to be discussed absolutely puts America first, and that's obviously very important to this president. Ed.
Now, the reporter who did ask that question, he's actually quite a nice guy. I've had a number of conversations with him. Most notably got to know him in the Netherlands when I was covering the NATO summit. And he was on a marathon press run with his team. Nice guy. I got to talk to him about how he started his career, and it was actually quite shocking to learn how he began. But I digress. But the answer was simple there, America first and no freebies for the terror regime. Next, President Trump sums it up himself, saying Iran is not ready for a deal and cannot ever be allowed to get a nuclear weapon.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well. They would like to do something, but I say they're not ready yet. They need more of the same. They're not ready yet. They got some evil intentions. We cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. If we did all this that I'm talking about your data centers, isn't that important? When they start blowing away communities one by one, we cannot let them ever even think about having a nuclear weapon, and that's exactly what's happening. They'll never have a nuclear weapon. Under the And by the way, this should have been done by other. They've been saying 47 years now for about 3 years, but this should have been done for 50 years by other American presidents or other countries. Didn't have to be us, but it seems to. If we don't do it, nobody else is. But I will, and nobody else has the capability to do it either. We built in my first term the greatest military anywhere in the world, and we're using it a little more than I thought, but that's all right. We had Venezuela that Chris is doing a fantastic job, and we've paid for the cost of that war many times over. We're taking millions and millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and Louisiana. You know that. You see those ships lined up.
Quote, the president's policy is a head for an eye. That's what Marco Rubio snapped, and that line lands because Rubio tied it to specifics. Iran's industrial base has been decimated. Its defense industrial base has been decimated, and the regime is losing launchers and radars every single night. So when the Ayatollahs and the IRGC wave around their little bottle rockets, they're not projecting strength, they are masking their panic. So President Trump told the Houthis, do this again, and Iran gets hit. And that's the whole doctrine. It's the first honest doctrine Washington has thrown at Tehran in decades. No more fake separation between the Houthis and the regime that arms them. No more media fairy tales that the IRGC can target U.S. installations with their little rockets and then hide behind diplomatic theater with Lavrov in the room. Trump shattered that game, and Rubio drove the stake deeper when he said Iran wants an eye for an eye and Trump's policy is a head for an eye. Good, well, that's how you deal with a terror state that begs for a deal by day and plots against Americans by night. So drop your take below and send this to one person still trapped in the Obama-Biden fantasy that cash and lectures tame mullahs and back overwhelming force until this regime loses the tools to threaten our people. And Rubio's head for an eye line is exactly the kind of clips YouTube loves to bury. And our credential team inside the White House is sending more tonight. So text White House to 844-840-4963. You see that on your screen there. And get those straight from the building reports on your phone before the platform censors decide that you shouldn't see them.